Okay, so let's start while we'll just wait till everyone gets in. But thank you for joining me again today for this week for the webinar. Yeah, it's certainly been an interesting week. I think that after last weekend's nosedive, things kind of leveled out towards the end of this week. So it's definitely feeling like the energy's shifted in a way and has lightened. So I'm very grateful for that. It certainly is difficult to kind of manage one's life while wanting to crawl into bed and stay there, which isn't what we can do, even though we're mostly sitting in lockdown. Yeah, so I had a look at, before we started, had a look at the energy for the coming week, to see where we're at and kind of what we have to look forward to, what's coming. Yeah, we are still in this massive shift and massive transformation, and I think we're going to be going through this for a long time. I don't think it's something that's going to be over in a couple of weeks or a couple of months. I think this is a process that we're in for the long haul, and for those of you that have been on a spiritual journey or healing journey for many years will know that this is a lifelong journey of transformation and healing and growth and development and evolution that we are on. At the moment, there's an intensity to it because it's a collective awakening. It's a collective evolutionary process that we're embarking on, not just an individual one. In saying that, there is still the individual aspect of stuff that we are going through and moving through, which can be quite challenging and difficult. And I think that's, for a lot of us, that's where we kind of are right now. And it feels like for many, it's this is a standstill moment or a pause moment where we are being offered the opportunity to reassess, review, and re-look at our lives, our world, and how we are in that world. And I think I've said it a few times in previous webinars, how we've been gifted this opportunity of lockdown to be able to do that and to be able to embark on this process. And I think as we move through it, there are different stages or different phases of it that we're going to be moving through. I think in the beginning, certainly for a lot of people, it was panicky about health and whether they were going to catch some sort of virus that was going to make them ill. And, there was a lot of panic around that. I think that panic seems to be lessening to a certain degree, but now there's the concern around how do I, what's the world going to look like when we come out of this? What is my reality going to look like when we come out of this? How has what is happening on a global and a collective level affecting me in the way that I have operated and learned to operate in the world? And I think that that's kind of the key word there is learned. We have all learned to survive in this current reality. We have learned to survive in this current society. It doesn't necessarily mean that survival is the right thing for us to be focusing on. It does, however, mean that we need to find a way to be able to work with our authentic self, our true self. And I know I mentioned this in probably a few of the daily inspirational emails that I send out about how key it is that we tap into the authenticity of our soul, of our soul essence, and bring that into this current reality that we're living in. And I think for a lot of people now, it's almost like that essence is starting to bubble to the surface and starting to find a way to be expressed in our world and in our reality. And as a result of that, there is a lot of stuff that is coming up for us to deal with and to face and to let go of. Some of that is patterns of behavior and patterns of relating, patterns of survival, essentially, that we're needing to release and to let go of. And with that, it comes this, for some, there's pain, there is heartache, For others, there is this, I suppose, a bit of a frozen moment where they are having to really look at what I've lived with and how I've lived, and how this is not who I am and is not necessarily how I wished to live my life from when I was a child. But it's how we've kind of learned to be in the world. And for other people, there's the realization that they are doing something or engaged in a lifestyle that doesn't suit them, that doesn't suit their soul growth and who they are as who they really are as a person and as a soul. And so all of these things are kind of coming up to be released, to be looked at, to be healed, to be processed. And it is giving us the opportunity to create space in our life so that we can allow something new to emerge. So that newness may take some time to emerge, because we've got to create the space by letting go of the old, whatever that old is. So this week, when I'm tapping into the energy of where we're at, this is where we are. It's about, what do I need to let go of to create space to allow the new to emerge? And the new is going to be different, obviously, for every single person. And it's going to depend on where you are in your journey, where you are in your own healing process. But I think the key is to be aware of that from a subconscious or an unconscious aspect. There is a huge amount of energy that is building in that aspect of ourselves, that is giving us the strength and the energy and the power to begin to work with what this new is to emerging in us, so that we can actually start to manifest something new and something different in our lives, or even to the point of manifesting a different life. So that's very positive. That's a very positive shift that is happening on an unconscious level. And the more we release and let go of what is consciously coming to the surface, the more we create space for this newness to emerge, and the more we allow this energy of the unconscious that is filtering into the unconscious to filter into our current reality and into our conscious awareness. And we can start to work with it. The one thing that we need to be very aware of and very conscious of moving into this week is addiction. And I'm not just talking about the addiction of drugs or alcohol. I'm talking about our addiction to old patterns, old behavior, old ways of thinking, old patterns of feeling. It's really starting to become obvious that we need to be aware of the cycles that we keep getting sucked into. What are those cycles, and how do I get out of the loop of these cycles so that I can start to let them go and to release them? Because these cycles are old. They may be karmic cycles that we've been caught in, so be aware of that. Be conscious of, where do my thoughts keep going? Why do my thoughts keep going round and round and round in these same patterns of thinking, which then impact my behavior and how I am in the world and in relationships. And you may find, as a result of all of this coming up, there's going to be emotional stuff that we have to deal with. So we also need to look at, from an emotional perspective, where are we addicted to the feelings of needing to always be happy, or needing to always feel the good feelings. We also need to process the deeper feelings that can be pretty uncomfortable. The unresolved pain, the unresolved sadness, the unresolved grief, the unresolved fear, the unresolved anger. Those sort of emotions seem to be bubbling to the surface as well, and we do need to look at them. Don't necessarily need to stay in them, but we do need to allow ourselves to bring them up to the surface so that they can be cleared and be released. So be conscious and aware of that, because that's where the gifts are. So the more we work with this energy that is urging us to let go and to release, the more we allow space in ourselves and therefore in our lives for the essence of our soul to emerge, for this new way, this new authenticity to emerge. And when we start working in that way, we start to operate from a far more, we start to operate with a more expanded perspective of life. And when we operate from that perspective, we are able to see the opportunities that are being presented to us. when we limit ourselves and our thinking by remaining caught in old cycles and old patterns, our perspective is very confined, our vision is confined, and we don't have the capacity to even consider new opportunities, because those new opportunities are so unfamiliar to us in our current confined state that we can't even see them or recognize them. So the more we work with releasing all of this old stuff, the cycles, the patterns, the emotions, the feelings, the thoughts, the more we open and expand our vision and our perspective to be able to gain a greater view of our life and the potential that we have moving forward. And that can happen quite quickly, you know, as you release, so there is space for this new to emerge. And as the new starts to emerge, you know, I wish I could say it was as simple as just allowing the new to emerge and off we go, riding off into the sunset, but not quite. Because as this newness starts to emerge, there's going to be ideas, there's going to be thoughts, there's going to be inspiration that comes that we need to then act on. So we can't just sit back and allow all of this stuff to emerge and then not really do anything with it. We do need to act on. We need to act on those nudges that our soul gives us, those kind of pushes that we get, those internal drives that we get to do something. Because we need to be working, if we're looking at every single person has a balance of masculine and feminine energies within them. The feminine aspect is the part of us that has that space. And that's the part of us that is going to allow this newness to emerge, where it's emerging into the feminine aspect of ourselves. And as this newness emerges, we've got to engage with our masculine energy and start using that force to actively manifest that into the world. So it really is a very powerful week that we're moving into. And my sense is this energy is going to be with us for a while. We're going to be working with it quite intensely. I was looking at, from an astrological perspective, kind of what we were in for. And because, for me, it's always a good idea to have some sort of insight into what's going on from a planetary aspect, so that we can work with the energy rather than resisting it or being anxious around it because we don't really know what's going on. And if we're looking into May, we've got a few retrograde planets. So we've just had Pluto last week going into retrograde. On the 7th of May, we've got our full moon. And then we've got Saturn, which is, for me, I always refer to Saturn as being the taskmaster of the universe. He's going retrograde. We've then got Venus going retrograde on the 13th and Jupiter going retrograde on the 14th. So those are some big planets that are going retrograde this month, which means that there is the opportunity and space for us to do some really deep work. And it just enables us to access a deeper level of everything that we're going through at the moment. So it's quite exciting. And I encourage everyone to stay positive around what's going on, rather than falling into the negative of the fear and the anxiety that is going around, because this is really a positive opportunity for us, and we must hold on to that. Yeah, so that's kind of the reading of what I'm seeing for this week. So maybe if anyone's got any questions or anything they'd like to share, you can either unmute yourself or just pop a question in the chat bar, which, if you don't know where it is, it's at the bottom. If you click on the chat icon. Oh yeah, no one's got any questions. Oh yeah. Yes, the energy is really shifting, Elizabeth Rose. Yeah, and have you felt the lightness since yesterday or the day before? Everything started to lift a little from last week's nosedive?
Not Friday. Friday was feeling down, and really I was very pleased to have taken the day off.
Oh, good.
Someone up there was looking after me. But so I had a very early night on Friday, but then Saturday woke up like really alert and ready for this next wave. I can really feel the shift, but I went right down on Friday, and there was just so much coming off of my heart chakra. So lots of childhood stuff came out.
Good. Yeah, it definitely does feel like there's some old stuff that's being released and cleared. That's brilliant. Thanks, Pat, for that. Need to know what the future looks like. Well, I don't know. I don't know if we're going to get an answer to that. I think the future is going to look the way it's going to look. Thanks, Muriel. I feel a shift in my energy and high vibes. I take the time to stay with it. When I have to act, my frequency sometimes goes down because I deal with people still living in the third dimension. How can I keep my high energy in that case? Well, I think, you know, for a lot of people on this journey, certainly the ones that are conscious and aware of it, you know, you act as a bridge between those two realities, between the old reality and the new reality. And if you want to look at it dimensionally, from the third reality to the fifth reality. So, you know, rather see it as, you know, when you're having to drop your energy, or it feels like you're dropping your energy to engage in that, actually what you needing to be doing is raising your energy or raising your vibration so that it triggers that person. That's the bridge. It's not necessarily actively taking someone across the bridge. It's igniting something within them, and igniting it by what you carry in you. So it's that the essence of love and compassion and empathy, rather than judgment or criticism or a sense of I don't want to be here. You know, that's part of our role. I hope that makes sense. It's definitely enticing to want to go into the future because it can be damn uncomfortable where we are right now. So yeah, I'm also feeling that pull, but at the same time, there's a part of it's almost like there's a pull to the future, not because we need to be there, but it's almost to give us a feeling of hope and you know, that there actually is a future. You know, this isn't the end and this isn't over. So I don't, as long as we're not staying there, I don't think it's such a bad idea. Oh, Pat, don't chastise yourself. Please don't.
Hi. This is more of a sort of comment that links into everything you're saying. Just an example, like this morning, I wasn't in the great, I could feel myself tipping into that not great space. And I was like, okay, I'm going to try some of these chants, you know, the Sare Saka one that you put on the thing.
Yes.
And it was beautiful. It put me to such a beautiful space. So thank you for that. And then I started kind of on YouTube going to more chants and things. And this is quite unlike me, actually. I don't do this, but it was amazing. I mean, the kind of space it was putting me into, I was finding the ones that I liked. And I was in this beautiful space, and then a huge technical issue came up, right? Like on my iPhone and to do with Apple ID and those things. I don't do well with those things. And I immediately went back into this awful, horrible space. And when that whole thing finished and I managed to somehow resolve it, it was kind of like, I thought to myself, okay, now I've got to get myself back into a good space. And it's almost like there was this part of me that felt like, but I can't get back into a good space now because now I'm in a bad space. So it's impossible for me to just go into, it was almost like, then I actually had to say to myself, but that's not true. If I actually just let myself in this moment make the choice to just go into a good space again, not judge myself for being in that bad space, I can actually, in the space of 5 minutes, let this go. It's not that easy. I'm not saying it worked instantly, but in a way, am I right? That is kind of how easy it should really be.
Mm. It is actually that easy and that simple, and I think we tend to overcomplicate it because it's this idea of there's so many things behind it. You know, it's a lower vibration, or I'm shifting
Exactly.
down, or timelines. You know, we complicate it with all that other stuff that goes around it, but actually, you know, it is very easy to shift ourselves out of a negative space through A, having that intention, and B, taking action. So you do need to do something to make that shift happen.
Yeah.
So that doing something can be, as you did, listening to the beautiful chants or mantras, that can shift. So any kind of music will shift you. Generally, you know, if you want to be in a good space, listen to beautiful music. Going outside into nature will shift you. It will shift your energy, and it will shift that negative space that you find yourself in. Doing something like going and having a bath or a shower, you know, those sort of things will also shift your energy field if you're finding it difficult to do so with any of the other things. And also just stepping into that space of appreciation. You know, sometimes when we're in a negative space, it can be difficult to find gratitude. Yes. Because you're kind of thinking, well, you know, what have I got to be thankful for? I'm feeling shit. So it can be just stepping into the space of appreciation. So the appreciation can be looking outside and seeing the beauty of nature. You know, it's a beautiful day, the sun is shining. I'm you know, have that kind of appreciation, and you will slowly start to shift your energy field.
That's exactly one of the things I did actually today. Yeah, just looking at these little pink flowers that are blossoming outside the window at the moment.
Yeah. Brilliant. Well done. Nicola, finding it hard to balance the demands of keeping all the day-to-day stuff going, work, kids, etc., and but also making space for the new. Yeah. Yes, thanks, Shelley. Sometimes the negative space is more of an old comfort zone. Exactly. Yeah, so we can fall into that negative space because it can be part of that old cycle of what we are used to engaging in. So that's a good point. Thanks for that. Nicola, getting back to you and your how to balance it all. I must say, you know, at the start of lockdown, I was quite strict with my kids. We're going to have routine so that we don't lie in bed all day and do nothing. So I made sure that we got up and we had breakfast together, and that we, you know, and then we'd have breakfast, and then we'd all go off and do our own things. And then I made us have tea time at 11 o'clock, and then we'd go off, and then we'd come back for lunch at 1 o'clock, and then we'd have tea time at 3, and then we'd come back for dinner. And I was quite, in the first 2 weeks or 3 weeks, we were quite strict about it, and it was really good. It kind of made us all, we kind of connected and we talked, but we got on with things, and then things started to slide in the 4th week, and yeah, the one daughter didn't wake up until 11 o'clock, so we didn't really have breakfast together, and then they were resisting it, and then I got sick of bullying them into it, and I just thought, you know, just let it go. But actually, and I let it go for a couple of weeks, but I actually realized that without that rhythm and that routine, I really wasn't getting anything done. They weren't getting anything done, and it actually wasn't working. So I've reinstated it. Or at least I'm trying to. We're not back to where we were in the beginning, but at least we're a bit better. So it might be, Nicola, my point here is that it might be a good idea to find some sort of routine that will help you to manage everything. And I mean, I know you've got small kids, which that must be, I can't imagine how difficult it must be to have small children in this lockdown, and to keep them kind of busy and engaged, and yeah, that's not fun. But maybe try with the routines, you know, of getting everyone to and being able to spend time with them, because I can imagine the demands of of theirs on you and their need of you can be quite exhausting, and doesn't make space for yourself. But maybe you can talk to your husband about, you know, how do we structure this so that it's not all on you and it's not all on him, and each child gets what they need as well, because there is that too. But don't forget that our children really only need 20 minutes of our undivided attention a day. So you've got to find 40 minutes in your day for each child. Undivided, that means you can't do anything else. Sit on the floor with them, talk to them, sit in the garden, do something that they want to do, not what you want to do. Hope that helps. Any other questions? Okay, if there are no more questions, then we could possibly go straight into a meditation. I must just tell you, I don't prepare for these meditations at all. I have absolutely no idea what we're going to be doing until I close my eyes and we start. So most times I get a vague inkling of you know what the intention of the meditation is going to be. But today I got nothing. I sat before we started and I was like, okay, well, you know, give me something. But there was nothing. So I really don't know where we're going today. So we're just going to go with it, and see where we get taken. So if you could all just settle into a comfortable space. Okay. See, we have got 1 or 2 new people joining us. Okay, so we're going into meditation at the moment. So we're all just getting comfy. And when you are ready, just gently closing your eyes. And just allow yourself to settle into this time and into this space. Just take a couple of deep breaths and allow yourself to relax and to let go. Just feel yourself sinking into this moment. And using your breath, draw all of your awareness to now. So that you are here now. Using your breath, draw all of your energy to now. Just breathing back all your energy that you have willingly or inadvertently given away or left behind. And just feeling your energy settling. And your mind becoming calm and your body relaxed. And become aware now of the connection that you have to the earth. Feel that connection through your feet. And allow yourself to sense and feel the love that you have for the earth. And as you feel and sense that love that you have, you feel a wave of energy and love coming from the earth to you. And this wave of energy moves from your feet up your body and into your heart center. Now become aware of this, the connection that you have to Source, to the creative force of all things. And you feel this connection at the top of your head, your crown. And you allow yourself to feel the love that you have for this force that is love. And as you connect to that force of love, you feel it wash down your body and into your heart, to merge and to blend with the energy and the love of the earth. And as this merging and blending happens, your heart expands and opens. And a path of cosmic dust opens before you. And you step forward, you begin to follow this path. And you feel the energy of that love of the earth and the love of the Creator holding you, sustaining you, and carrying you forward. And you come to a door. Become aware of this door. What is it made of? Does it have any signs or symbols engraved on it? Make a note of those if it does. When you're ready, gently just push the door and allow it to open. You step forward into a magical world. This is an inner world where you're able to connect to the essence of your truth, the essence of your soul. And you begin to explore this reality in this world. What form does it take? Who is in this reality with you? Just take a moment to observe what is being shown to you, what is being shared with you. And now just feeling the essence of your soul awakening and expanding within you. Feel this essence being ignited by the energy of the space that you're in now. And feel your soul's essence moving into every part of your being. Feel it moving through your blood, through your bones, through each and every organ. And feel this essence radiating out into your energy field, bringing you into alignment and balance. Now feel this all beginning to settle. Feel yourself becoming aware of the magical space that you entered into. And when you're ready, finding your way back through the door, closing it behind you, recognizing that this is a space that you can come back to at any time, to reconnect to the soul essence of yourself, to rejuvenate, regenerate, and restore your energy and your connection to yourself. And then gently breathing yourself back into this time, into the space, and into your body, to your physical form. And moving your fingers and your toes, and opening your eyes when you're ready. Well, that was a nice journey. I hope you all enjoyed it. Anyone like to share anything that they got from that? Change. Good changes, I hope. Good. Good. Yeah, I felt a lot of just feeling of energy moving and lots of colors. There was lots of colors. Definitely felt like some sort of opening for me. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining me again today. I don't really have anything else. Lots of silver. Yeah, I saw lots of gold actually. Lots of gold. Yeah, I don't have anything else to share unless anyone else has any questions or anything they'd like to share. Say, can't even talk. Share. Lots of fairies. Oh, I love the fairies. And angels. Nice.
If I may, it's just to say it's interesting to me that the fairies came through, because it's not a realm I naturally connect with or work with, knowingly anyway. So I was really surprised to see the fairies come in. I wasn't expecting that at all. But, I'll do some more connecting with it and see what else I get, and
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Okay, good. Nice to see you pushing through things. All right, so we'll connect next week, same time, same place. And I hope that your week is good. And yeah, just allow yourself to stay conscious and aware to the energy and what's emerging this week, and work with it. Try not to suppress it or push it away or distract yourself from it. It's always best when we work with the energy, even though sometimes it can be a little challenging, but it will shift quicker, and you will move through it faster if you do. So resistance is futile in these instances. But thank you all so much, and I'll speak to you all next week. Thank you everyone. Have a good week.